Hello, welcome back, characters and combatants, to Soul Calibur 4 on Xbox 360, where even the main menu is so kick butt you may find yourself awestruck just by your menu options. And in this part, we are adjusting the versus mode conditions, because we're going to do some versus mode against the CPU on the console.
No, really? You're gonna knock it all the way down to 20 seconds battle time?
You can. You can't have
Yes.
You can't have matches that have a duration of any less than 20 seconds. What happens in this case is that if a winner is not decided by the end of the 20 seconds, then whoever has more health than the other will be declared the winner.
Right. And here you can remap buttons. Oh, really? All four are mapped to left bumper. Wow. Okay.
A lot of them are. G is for guard, K is for kick, A is for A,
Horizontal.
and B is for B.
Vertical.
Horizontal and vertical. That each character in the game has their actions mapped out to those four types of moves. That all you have to do is determine which character has the best execution of those types of attacks when the moment is right.
And the answer is usually Voldo, because Voldo is awesome. Are we going to get to see any Voldo?
Oh yeah, we're gonna see some Valdo.
Yay!
It's nice of the game to at least give you the option to play with a computer player in the event that you do not have another human player to play with. Or if you really don't feel like
Yoda's arcade,
doing the other
unlock
modes.
the Apprentice. And so who are we going to play as for our versus? I vote for Mitsurugi, but this is in the past, so...
We'll be seeing some Mitsurugi too.
Okay.
As well as the unlockable characters that you see, we will be unlocking those characters at some point.
Okay. Ooh, fully corrupted nightmare. All right.
Yeah, it's
And
just,
even more handicaps we can adjust.
this will give newbies a chance to get acquainted with the game without relying on just training mode where the enemy is just standing still the entire time. This time, if you go into versus mode and lower the difficulty, then at least your opponent will have some fight in them.
Well, you can program... I know that you could program your AI to do specific actions on training mode in Soul Blade, and I'm pretty sure you can do the same for Soul Calibur 2. And I know it's the thing that Tekken very specifically allows you to do as well. So at this point in fighting game history, I'm pretty sure you have the ability to program your AI opponents in training mode to do specific actions, so that you could attempt to figure out what counterplay is. All right.
Now, how about we beat up some fools who are just dodging every now and then? He's not even trying. Two, one. And Raphael has admitted defeat.
Comfortable with Nightmare, are you?
Well, that's like saying I'm not really comfortable with any of the characters dramatically at this point. So at the end of every battle in versus mode, as long as you haven't quit the screen or changed modes, then the game will keep track of your current win record. But because we realize that 20 seconds just ain't enough time to get our rocks off in a versus game, how about we extend the period so at least both characters have enough time to deplete each other's health bars as needed. Completely.
I mean, if you're actually decent with Nightmare, Nightmare can deplete health bars very quickly. But you know, you're not all that comfortable with these characters yet. So, Mitsu. We going armor Mitsu or robe Mitsu? Okay, we're going armor Mitsu. Okay. Mitsu is actually my favorite Soul Calibur character.
Made all the more appropriate with the Japanese voices that I had set for versus mode and for much of the rest of the game, by the way. As much as I enjoy...
Mitsu versus Voldo.
As much as I enjoy Soul Calibur with its campiness and its wicked, tough-sounding characters at times, I find that that having the Japanese voice acting lends itself to the theming, as well as taking my eye off of the dialogue at times. However,
Voldo, you are so awesome.
However, Voldo does not have any speaking lines whatsoever. He only knows how to hiss and make weird noises.
Well, yeah, it's actually tied into Voldo's story. He is, he is one of the first guardians of Soul Edge.
And so Voldo has knocked us out of the arena, causing us to immediately lose the game.
Yep.
With a charge-up lunge attack that honestly could have been avoided if only I had attacked the foe.
Or sidestepped.
However, because I'm playing against a versus mode CPU, the game treated it as though I was doing either a mission or an arcade stage, and treated it as an I lose situation. Let's try best 2 out of 3.
Oh, you got the first part of one of my favorite Mitsurugi combos, the back kick into vertical. Back kick into vertical not only does a significant amount of damage for Mitsurugi, it also does a shit ton of knockback.
How's that
for several missions, if you land with the startup of back kick, the enemy goes airborne. So if you need to deal damage to an airborne target, Mitsu actually has lots of ability to do that.
We'll talk about an all-around balanced character.
I wouldn't call Mitsurugi balanced, honestly. He's actually much slower than a lot of the more powerful characters, and because of that, it can be a bit difficult to figure out what kind of stance you actually want to take with Mitsu.
Oh, the stance.
Like a lot of his more satisfying moves have got insanely long startup times. Whereas Voldo here is quick in almost everything that he does. Like his crouching lunge is honestly one of his only moves that's actually has got any significant time on it.
Admit defeat.
No, Voldo is not the king of hell, Mitsu.
That's for a 1 time up finish. You, but by the way, you do not necessarily gain stats or experience when doing versus mode. You can only get experience with characters while you're doing one of the story modes.
Right. Versus mode specifically is here for for casual and competitive play against people that are just here for the basic fighting game experience.
No, we're dialing in even closer. What is a good amount of time in versus mode? Because personally,
I honestly think 50 is the sweet spot, but competitively, 60 is a more comfortable time slot for most people.
You probably will not see in a 60-second game that one of the characters still has all their health left.
Right. Sailor's Rest with Cassandra. Now, is Sophia actually available?
I think she's one of the unlockable characters.
Okay.
Suffice to say, I didn't play as each of the unlockable characters, although I did unlock them.
Okay. So, Cassandra, she is honestly a slightly slower and slightly harder hitting version of Sophia, and she uses her shield and Gladius as, well, yeah, a relatively quick and somewhat defensive stance. But yeah, if you're comfortable with her, she can actually do quite a lot when it comes to punishing slower opponents.
Cassandra,
and yes,
especially
throws in Soul Calibur are always glorious.
Just goes to show how important it is that you got your fingers ready on the button so you can resist a grab attack.
So who we going into next?
As many different
Taki!
types of fighters as possible. Yeah, I bet you would, Mr. Gerdat. Because here we have one of the
It's
more...
not just because Taki is sexually attractive, okay? Taki is, like, factually the second fastest character in the game. I think her only actual competitions for speed are Maxi and Voldo.
Well, let's try speed versus speed then.
Taki usually has a difficult time with this matchup because her more punishing moves actually are relatively slow, whereas Maxi's punishing moves are much faster than hers.
Well, let's see the jiggliest versus the juggliest of the characters.
I wouldn't consider Maxi the juggliest of the characters, but
So, which would you rather have? As some players might find themselves a bit distracted in a matchup this eye-opening.
honestly, the most distracting matchup is still Taki Ivy, but that almost always goes in Taki's favor. So
My eyes, my nose, my eyes. It's a double whammy. Oh, but we're not about to give up that easy. You think you could just slap me around and call that a game? And stop playing the I lose music. That music pisses me off.
oh, but it's Maxi. You're supposed to lose against Maxi a couple of times.
Here's a game that really knows how to make people feel humble when they lose. Makes you feel like a big sack of crap, honestly. And the I lose music, by the way, has been the same basically since the beginning.
Yeah, I recall the I lose track being more or less the same in Soul Blade. So
let's see. Some amateur mistakes are observable right now. Lack of guarding. No charge-up attacks. No charge-up cycle. Oh, just hang on. Guard. Time's up, Maxi. That's right. I used the timer to take you out, buddy.
you're not really taking advantage of Taki's very fast kicks, though. It's one of Taki's better things. Honestly, her horizontal attacks are not that good, but both her kicks and her vertical attacks are relatively fast and punishing.
I mean, that whirlwind kick just filled up the entire, top to bottom with attack. Critical HP music.
And yes, Taki also has access to the spinning bird kick, which is nice.
Do try not to leave yourself open after doing a power attack.
Whoosh! That's actually her unblockable, so.
Unblockable attacks cannot be blocked, even if you are blocking.
I forget if they can be parried, though.
Oh, there's
I want to say that certain characters can actually parry unblockables. Like maybe a steroid-infused nightmare gets to do it. Hey, Ivy.
I'm also pretty sure that Sophitia is the unlockable character located directly above Cassandra, because Sophitia and Cassandra are closely related in playstyle.
They are. Cassandra is Sophitia's kid.
Let's try raising the difficulty a little bit, shall we? If you find that the AI routines don't need any adjustment, how about giving them more health to give you more of a challenge on your hands?
So Countess Ivy.
Main takeaway here is versus mode is a moldable mode. You can make it as difficult, as challenging. You want to do just whoever ends with most health wins. You want to do until somebody gets KO'd or knocked out. You want to pick only maps where you must defeat your opponent by taking out their health bar instead of giving you a ring out option. You can do that. The more you play in versus mode, you'll find your experience carrying over to the other play modes. Especially the modes where you can earn the gold you need to unlock characters and new weapons. If, for example, you wanted to use special weapons in special versus mode.
And honestly, most of the fun that I've ever had with Soul Calibur has always been into the special weapons mode, because the mutators that these special weapons give characters do somewhat change the balancing for characters, and they can be very fun to play with. In the next episode,
you could try.
Oh, we still have another match yet.
And if ever you feel like the game is just slipping away from you, by all means, you have a pause menu and lots of options to either quit, retry, or switch game modes. And in the next part, we at Rack Commentaries continue to explore the versatility of Soul Calibur 4.
Be safe, everybody.